Hi, I'm Michael Day, teacher, nature photographer, and traveler. This video is about a trek to Everest Base Camp, one of the great adventures of my life. At the end of the video, you'll see some information about my blog and how to contact me. If you want to subscribe to other videos, there's a little subscribe button in the lower right, and just press that. Hey, thanks for watching. When I retired the first time from the University of Wyoming, Susan asked what I'd like for a retirement gift. Without hesitation, I said to trek to Mount Everest Base Camp. I love to hike and backpack. So that was that. I booked with REI Travels for the following fall. It was one of the best experiences of my life. The trip was not at all of interest to Susan. Though Susan loves to hike, the idea of 12 days sleeping in a tent and 14 days hiking was not appealing. So I went alone. But as luck would have it, I was assigned a wonderful tent mate who was originally from Holland. Wim and I had a great time together. Fortunately, the weather in Nepal in mid-October was quite good, especially in the Kathmandu region, home to Mount Everest, tallest mountain in the world, topping 29,000 feet. Chomolungma in Tibetan, goddess mother of the earth. My adventure began with a long flight from Los Angeles to Bangkok, Thailand, arriving at the airport around 9 in the evening and facing a 10-hour layover. I tried to catch some sleep, not very successfully, but did enjoy some lovely and calming Buddhist shrines. Around 8 a.m., I boarded my flight to Kathmandu, some 1,300 miles northwest. The flight took about 3.5 hours. On arrival, I was met by an REI host and taken to the Hotel Marshandi in the Thamel district of the city, with its narrow and crowded streets, confusing alleys packed with shops, cycle rickshaws, and motorbikes. Thamel is Kathmandu's tourist hub, where many of the older hotels, pubs, and restaurants are located. Unlike any major city I've visited, I could never read or successfully follow a map of Kathmandu. As an Asian city, Kathmandu has the well-deserved reputation of being the most fascinating big city east of Istanbul. It is certainly dynamic. Unfortunately, Kathmandu, as well as the Khumbu area, experienced a devastating earthquake in 2015, 3 years after my visit. After checking into my hotel, I ventured out to absorb and photo a bit of the city. Old Town, historic Dunbar or Temple Square, and its beautiful pagoda-styled architecture, many from the 1500s, its colorful, congested streets. I got hopelessly lost and needed to hire a rickshaw driver to return me to the hotel. But it was a wonderful and extremely satisfying introduction to Kathmandu. During the morning of the next day, I got a proper tour of the city with a Tibetan friend of one of my UW graduate students who lived in Kathmandu, visiting a Buddhist school and temple, markets, parks, new road and its gate, and returning to Dubar Square. Later that evening, I met with my fellow 14 trekkers and RVI guides. The next day we toured the Kathmandu Valley. Then on the morning of my 4th day in Kathmandu, we boarded a plane to Lukla and the beginning of our trek to Everest Base Camp and the summit of Kalapathar, elevation a little over 18,000 feet, with its breathtaking views of Mount Everest. From Kathmandu to Lukla is a short flight, just over 80 miles almost directly east, about 45 minutes. It's a lovely flight with views of the Nepal countryside below and the Himalaya mountains to the north. But it can be a challenging flight, especially the landing. Lukla Airport, also called Tenzing Hillary Airport, was built in 1964 under supervision of Sir Edmund Hillary, who with Tenzing Norgay from Nepal were the first people confirmed to successfully summit Mount Everest in 1953. The airport wasn't paved until 2001. Its elevation a bit over 9,000 feet. The runway, roughly the length of 3 American football fields, and having an 11.7% grade ending in a cliff, dropping precipitously about 2,000 feet. Lukla Airport has the reputation of being the most dangerous airport in the world. Flights can only arrive during daylight in good weather and are often delayed due to high winds, cloud cover, and poor visibility. No roads lead to the airport. The REI group that preceded ours had a 2-day delay before their landing at Lukla, having to make adjustments to their trek. But our group of 15 were fortunate, arriving safely and right on time. We were greeted by our REI trekking staff and our leader, Thupten Yershi Sherpa, who for a while spent time as a monk in Tengbosch Monastery, where we visited toward the end of our trek. Thupten graciously led a prayer service at Everest Base Camp where the ashes of Andy, my recently deceased Springer Spaniel, were laid to rest. Thupten is also a successful artist of the Khumbu. I purchased one of his paintings. Before sharing about 5 minutes of photos from the trek itself, I'd like to spend a few moments attempting to capture the excitement, warmth, and atmosphere surrounding the actual trek. The excitement came from the numerous suspension bridges we crossed. The warmth from the Sherpa people we encountered. And the atmosphere from the Buddhist art and markings that greeted us each day. The mood set as we entered Swayambhunath National Park through its official gateway and read this greeting, and I quote, "While visiting this special area, visitors are encouraged to 1. Refrain from taking life. 2. Refrain from anger. 3. Refrain from jealousy. 4. Refrain from offending others. 5. Refrain from taking excessive intoxicants. Enjoy your visit. End of quote. Now, some photos from the 35-mile trek to Everest Base Camp and the summit of Kalapathar. That's our video. The entire trek covered about 70 miles and lasted 2 weeks, beginning and ending on the airstrip at Lukla. I hope you enjoyed it, and consider making this adventure yourself. If you'd like to further examine the link between adult education, wonder, curiosity, adventure, and travel, visit my blog at michael-day.org, where you can also contact me. Happy travels.